Look, I'm not going to pretend I stumbled into intermittent fasting because I'm some wellness guru who journals at 5 a.m. I found it because I was tired of feeling bloated, my jeans were doing that uncomfortable thing, and I kept seeing these women online with these gorgeous hourglass figures talking about eating windows. So naturally, I went down the rabbit hole. Here's what nobody tells you up front. Intermittent fasting can absolutely change your body shape, but not in the way Instagram makes you think. And whether it enhances your curves specifically, that's where things get interesting. The part everyone skips. What actually happens to your body when you stop eating for extended periods? Your body doesn't just sit there twiddling its thumbs. After about 12 hours without food, you run out of easy energy, glycogen, and your body goes, okay, time to pull from the reserves. That's when fat burning actually kicks in. But here's where it gets good for the curve conversation. Intermittent fasting affects where your body pulls fat from based on your hormones and genetics. You know how some women lose weight from their boobs first and their stomach last? Or how some of us lose our butts before anything else? That's not random, it's hormonal. When you do IF correctly, you're working with your hormones instead of against them. And for a lot of women, that means losing fat from the midsection while maintaining curves in the hips and bust. Not because IF is magic, but because it helps balance insulin and cortisol, the two hormones that love to store fat around your middle. My friend Sarah tried IF last year, and I watched her transform, but not in the way she expected. She didn't become an hourglass overnight. What happened was subtler and honestly more impressive. Her waist became more defined, but her hips stayed. Her face got sharper, but she didn't lose her curves. She told me something that stuck with me. I didn't get a new body. I got my body, just clearer. That's really what we're talking about here. IF doesn't give you someone else's curves. It reveals your natural shape by reducing the bloat and excess fat that's hiding it. When you eat constantly throughout the day, your insulin levels stay elevated. High insulin tells your body to store fat, not burn it. It's like having your emergency brake on while trying to drive. Intermittent fasting gives your insulin a break. When insulin drops, your body can finally access stored fat for energy. But here's the crucial part. It preferentially burns visceral fat first, the dangerous fat around your organs and midsection, before it touches subcutaneous fat, the fat that gives you curves in your hips, thighs, and bust. This is why so many women report their waist shrinking while their hip-to-waist ratio actually improves. You're not losing curves, you're defining them. Also, IF increases growth hormone by up to 500%. Growth hormone helps maintain muscle while burning fat. This is critical because curves aren't just about fat, they're about having muscle underneath to give shape and lift. The methods that actually work for body composition. Not all intermittent fasting is created equal. If you're specifically trying to improve your shape, here's what actually matters. 16-8 method. Fast for 16 hours, eat during an 8-hour window. This is the sweet spot for most women. It's long enough to get the fat burning and hormonal benefits without messing up your cycle or metabolism. I do 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., and it feels natural now. 18-6 method. Fast for 18 hours, eat during 6 hours. This is more aggressive and works well if you've already adapted to 16-8 and want to push further. But don't jump straight to this. 5-2 method. Eat normally 5 days, restrict calories to 500 to 600 on 2 non-consecutive days. Honestly, this one is harder and I don't love it for maintaining curves because the feast-famine cycle can mess with women's hormones. The reality? 16-8 done consistently beats aggressive fasting done sporadically. Every single time. What nobody mentions. Protein timing changes everything. Here's where most people screw up. They fast successfully, but then break their fast with carbs and not enough protein. If you want to maintain muscle and curves while losing fat, you need to hit your protein target within your eating window. I'm talking 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight. For me, that's about 120 to 130 grams. Every day. Non-negotiable. Why? Because when you're in a fasted state, your body will break down muscle for energy if it doesn't have enough protein coming in during your eating window. And guess what happens when you lose muscle? Your curves flatten, your butt sags, your shape disappears. Think of it this way. Fat creates volume, but muscle creates shape. You want to lose the fat that's hiding your curves while keeping the muscle that's creating them. Okay, real talk moment here. If you're still eating the same way you always have, just in a shorter window, you're missing the entire point. I need you to actually track your protein for 1 week. Just one. Use an app. See where you're actually at. Because I promise you, you're probably getting half of what you need. And that's why your results aren't matching your effort. The hormone situation we need to discuss. Women's bodies are not just smaller versions of men's bodies. Our hormones fluctuate every single day of our cycle, and F affects them. During the follicular phase, right after your period, your body handles fasting beautifully. Insulin sensitivity is high, energy is good, and fat burning is easier. This is your time to be stricter with your fasting window. During the luteal phase, the week or two before your period, your body wants more glucose and energy. Your cortisol is already higher, and aggressive fasting can push it higher, which actually makes you store more belly fat. This is when you might do 14-10 instead of 16-8, or take a few days off completely. I learned this the hard way. I was doing strict 18-6 through my entire cycle and wondered why I felt like garbage and wasn't seeing results. Turns out I was stressing my body out right when it needed support. The training component. Nobody talks about, you cannot fast your way to curves. You need muscle. Period. Intermittent fasting creates the caloric deficit and hormonal environment to lose fat. But if you want an actual defined waist, rounded glutes, and toned legs, you need to lift weights. I started doing glute-focused strength training 3 times a week while doing 16-8, and that's when things changed. My waist got smaller, but my hips and butt got rounder because I was building muscle there while losing fat everywhere else. The best part? You don't need to work out fasted. Actually, for building curves, I prefer training in my eating window so I have energy and can fuel recovery properly. Some people swear by fasted cardio, but for strength training, feed your muscles. What results actually look like? The honest version. Month 1, mostly water weight and bloat reduction. Your stomach flattens, you feel less puffy. You might lose 5 to 8 pounds, but your shape doesn't dramatically change yet. Don't give up here. Month 2 to 3, this is where body recomposition starts happening. The scale might barely move, but your measurements change. Your waist gets smaller, your clothes fit differently, your face gets more defined. People start asking if you've lost weight. Month 4 to 6, this is the sweet spot. If you've been consistent with fasting and protein and training, this is when people really notice. Your waist to hip ratio improves. You can see muscle definition. Your body looks more proportional and balanced. My measurements after 5 months. Lost 3 inches from my waist, 1 inch from my hips, but my hip to waist ratio improved significantly. The scale only showed 12 pounds lost, but I looked like I'd lost 25 because of the body recomposition. The mistakes that kill your progress. Undereating in your window. You need enough calories to maintain muscle. Don't fast for 16 hours and then eat 1,000 calories. That's not if, that's an eating disorder with extra steps. Only doing cardio, running and cycling are great, but they won't build the muscle you need for curves. Add resistance training. Not sleeping enough. 7 hours minimum. Sleep is when your body actually builds muscle and burns fat. If you're doing everything else right but sleeping 5 hours, you're sabotaging yourself. Ignoring your cycle. Adjust your fasting based on where you are in your cycle. Your body's needs change, so your approach should too. Expecting linear progress. Your body doesn't lose fat evenly or predictably. You might lose from your face first, then your arms, then finally your midsection. Trust the process. The bloating thing, because this matters. One of the fastest visible changes from IF is reduced bloating. When you give your digestive system a legitimate break, inflammation decreases. That puffy feeling in your stomach goes away. This alone can make your waist look 1-2 inches smaller within a couple of weeks. It's not fat loss yet. It's just your body not being constantly inflamed from digesting food 14 hours a day. And when the bloat goes down, your natural curves become more visible. It's like wiping fog off a mirror. What about your butt and boobs? Let's address this directly because I know you're wondering. Your butt is mostly muscle glutes with a fat layer. If you're doing glute exercises while fasting, you can actually build your butt while losing stomach fat. This is the ideal scenario for curves. Your boobs are mostly fat tissue. Yes, you will probably lose some breast volume when losing body fat. How much depends on your genetics. Some women lose cup sizes quickly, others barely notice a change. You can't spot reduce or spot preserve fat. But here's the thing, when your waist gets smaller, even if your bust gets slightly smaller too, your proportions often look better. A smaller waist makes your bust look relatively fuller. The mental shift that actually matters. Here's what changed everything for me. I stopped trying to look like someone else and started trying to look like the best version of myself. You have a natural body type. Intermittent fasting won't turn you from an apple to an hourglass if you're genetically an apple, but it will help you become a leaner, more defined version of your natural shape. Some women naturally carry more weight in their hips and thighs. IF can help you reduce any excess while maintaining those curves. Some women are naturally straighter, athletic build. IF can help you reduce body fat percentage and see muscle definition, creating shape through muscle rather than fat. The goal isn't to fight your genetics, it's to optimize them. My actual routine, since you're going to ask, I wake up around 7 a.m. I drink water, sometimes black tea. I don't stress about having cream in my tea anymore because 15 calories isn't breaking my fast in any meaningful way, and that mental flexibility has been huge for sustainability. I break my fast at 12 p.m. First meal is always protein heavy, eggs, black Greek yogurt, or leftover chicken. I get at least 40 grams of protein in this meal. I work out around 3 to 4 p.m. in my eating window. Glute-focused strength training or full body lifting, 3 times a week. Dinner is around 7 p.m. Again, protein focused with vegetables and some carbs. I don't demonize carbs. Your muscles need them, especially if you're training. I stop eating by 8 p.m. If I want dessert, I have it before 8 p.m., not at 10 p.m. when I'm mindlessly snacking. That's it. It's not sexy or complicated, it's just consistent. The scale is lying to you. I need you to understand this. The scale measures your relationship with gravity. It doesn't measure your shape, your curves, your muscle definition, or how good you look in jeans. I have weighed the same weight at 2 different points with completely different bodies. At 145 pounds with no muscle and high body fat, I looked soft and undefined. At 145 pounds with muscle and lower body fat, I looked curvy and toned. Take progress photos. Take measurements. Pay attention to how your clothes fit. These are infinitely more valuable than the number on the scale. The real talk about sustainability. You know what's killed every diet you've ever tried? The fact that you couldn't maintain it. Intermittent fasting works long-term because it's not actually that restrictive. You're eating the same foods, just in a condensed window. You can go out to dinner, you can have drinks, you can live your life. I've been doing this for over a year now, and it doesn't feel like a diet. It feels like how I eat. Some days I'm strict 16-8. Some days I'm more like 14-10. During my period, I might do 12-12 or just eat normally. And that's fine. Perfection isn't the goal. Consistency is. So, does it actually improve your curves? Yes. But not because it magically sculpts your body. Intermittent fasting improves your curves by reducing visceral and belly fat while preserving subcutaneous fat in your curves, balancing hormones that control where you store fat, reducing bloating so your natural shape is visible, creating an environment where you can build muscle while losing fat, improving insulin sensitivity so you burn fat more efficiently, but only if you do it right, only if you eat enough protein, only if you lift weights, only if you're consistent, only if you adjust for your cycle. It's not a magic pill, it's a tool. A really effective tool, but still, just a tool. Your job is to use it correctly. The last thing I'll say. A year ago, I was trying every diet, buying every supplement, following every Instagram fitness model, and feeling frustrated that nothing worked. Now, I eat in an 8-hour window most days, lift weights 3 times a week, eat a lot of protein, and my body looks better than it ever has. Not because I'm starving myself, not because I'm doing anything extreme, just because I'm doing something that actually works with my hormones instead of against them. Your curves are already there. They're just hiding under inflammation, bloat, and excess fat. Intermittent fasting doesn't create curves. It reveals them. And honestly, that's better than any promise of transformation. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to become more clearly yourself. Now stop watching and go drink some water. Your fasting window starts whenever you decide it does. So you really did watch this video to the end and haven't subscribed yet? Come on, people. We don't do that here. Subscribe and like, and tell me what part of the universe you are watching from. I'm in Pluto. Just to be frank, I'm a female dude, not a male dude. A nursing student, passionate about your mental, physical, emotional, and educational health. Check out my other videos if you want, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Always stay happy, and subscribe for an injection.